You're going live.
Here's your God Call with Reverend Bill.
There's a paradox of growth that in order to become what we desire to become, we have to sacrifice to give up what we are now. So the question for you, as you are growing into whatever is new, whatever is next, is, are you ready to stop doing things the way that you've been doing them? Are you ready to stop thinking the way that you've been thinking? Are you ready to stop engaging the way you've been engaging so that you can open and invite something new and wonderful as you into being?
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a reason, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to hurt, a time to heal, a time to laugh, and a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose. And a time for every purpose. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Avi. That's Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament to the 60s and the Birds to Wisney, a triple play. There we go. Good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia. It is so wonderful to see you guys here in July of 2022. Very exciting day for all of us. You guys, we know the rules for meeting on Zoom. Keep yourself muted except when we're sharing or making a big loud noise like this one. Go ahead and unmute now and repeat after me. I open myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to my good right now.
I open myself to my good right
right now.
And so it is.
And
persuaded.
All right. Practice one more time with that mute button as I will remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. So whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, and wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. The creed here is really simple. It fits on the back of a matchbook. There's one power, love, intelligence that creates everything, including each of us. And we each use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. That's it. That's the whole thing. You can shorten it up even more. Your new life begins with a new thought. And today is a wonderful opportunity to deepen even more fully into that. And I will explain in just a second. But first, if you have a device which is going to be interrupting you, which could be your cell phone, that's usually the most likely culprit. If there's a kitchen timer that's going tick, 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 that's going to ring, maybe you want to turn that one off as well. Just whatever, because we're going to focus within on the circle in here for the next hour or so. And I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today is Avi Wisnia. It's wonderful to have you with us. And our practitioners for the celebration are the newly minted New Thought Philadelphia Practitioner Interns. And yes, there are 4 of them who are joining the Practitioner Corps today. That would be Jesus Baez and Courtney Gale, who is in the meeting here as well, and Bobby Chalucci, who is in the meeting today, and Carolyn Nixon. Now, you guys haven't seen a lot of Courtney and Bobby because they actually came into the class through a different spiritual community, but they're going to be doing their practitioner internship with us. And that means that you guys are going to get some incredibly effective professional healing prayer work for free. Ha ha! What could be better than free? And the reason for that is that as part of their internships, they need to do practitioner work, healing prayer work, transformational work with clients to help their clients experience a change in their lives. And they need to be able to document the fact that they've done that with some case studies. So basically all it costs you is you have to write a thing that says, yes, my life is now spectacularly better than it was before I got together with Courtney or Bobby or Jesus or Carolyn. And it's truthful because it is. Our opening prayer today is brought to us from the shores of Lake Michigan in Milwaukee, Wisconsin by Carolyn. And you're muted.
There is one presence and power which has been creating since the beginning of time, the Big Bang. Speaking of the word, the first utterance of the universal Om, out of which consciousness emerged. This same presence and power which created all there is, created you and created me as a unique expression of itself, unique and individualized and one with this creator and all of its creation. I feel blessed and I feel grateful to be in community and to commune with the divine in this sacred space. I know that the service is love unfolding. It blesses, it uplifts, it renews, it restores, it nourishes and nurtures all who partake of it and participate in it. And in this knowing and in loving gratitude, I release my word into law, knowing it is fulfilled right here and right now. I allow it to be so, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Carolyn. That was wonderful. And a practical prayer is actually causative. It's not some thing that we do to earn God points or just to check off the fact that we're a little more spiritual than we used to be. It actually changes the experience that we're having in life. So this is the opportunity to get to share our prayer work stories. I have 5 newly minted practitioners that are my prayer work story, but let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. Who else has a prayer work story that you would like to share? Linda Francis.
Morning, everybody. And Patrick said it's 3:37 in Lisbon and 95 degrees. It's 7:39 here and it's 95 degrees. So anyway, we're going up. But anyway, so my prayer work story is a few days ago, I finished a pet sit and it was relatively simple. It was just drop in and feed a cat. And when the girl came back, usually every other time they come back and they pay me. I get paid either on Venmo or Zelle or something like that. So I didn't get paid on Sunday. I didn't get paid on Monday. I didn't get paid on Tuesday.
Mm-mm.
So on Tuesday, I sent a note, it's like, I'd kind of like to get paid. I finished the job 3 days ago, and she goes, yeah, I'll do it. And so the day went by and the day went by. And then I went into Zelle, and it looked like there was an attempt to put money in, but it went out right away. It said it was no good. So obviously it seems like she probably didn't have sufficient funds in her account or something. So I sent her a note and I said, I can't believe I have to chase you down for this money, but you really need to pay me. I already paid you. And then we went through this big thing, and we got into a little bit of a tiff. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but it was kind of like she was pissed off because probably she was embarrassed. And I was pissed off because I didn't get paid. So we stopped the texting, and I said, oh, I know, I'm going to do a prayer work story. I'm going to do a prayer work. And so I did a prayer, and literally 3 minutes later, I got a ding from Zelle that I was paid. So that's my prayer work story. It worked out pretty well.
Oh God, give me the money. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's perfect. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, Breen.
So I've got a kind of a pet sitting prayer work story as well on the other side of it. Many of you guys know we have a couple of dogs. Coco, who's a sweet little Shih Tzu who loves everybody and is perfectly awesome. And then we have Jack. Jack is excitable, reactive, and can be difficult for some people to be around. And we found through Rover a pet sitter who coincidentally used to live like less than a block away from us, knows the neighbors. He came over for a meet and greet, and by the end of it, Jack was just laying on the floor at his feet, going ah. And we've booked him a couple of times to walk Jack, and it's such a great feeling to know that that Jack is taken care of, and that the person can take care of Jack. So it's a really awesome thing. So
That is
yay
beautiful.
for awesome pet sitters.
Thank you. Yeah, I heard this story earlier, and the pet sitter wanders around the neighborhood greeting the neighbors because he used to live there. Christine.
Yeah, so I'm a member of the Unexpected Income Club, and I've been saying the prayer every day, and things have been financially tight because I haven't been working. I've been on disability, and disability has been very slow to pay me. And so I wrote a practical prayer about prosperity, and we got a letter in the mail that the government overcharged us for unemployment benefits. Originally they were paying us, and then we got a letter saying, oh, we paid you too much money. You owe us like $2,500 back, and we were paying it. And then we got a letter saying, oh wait, we audited it, we were wrong, we owe you more money. So we got like $3,700 in the mail.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
That is looking a fact in the face and knowing something better. Perfect. Last up, Annie, or Annie's iPhone from the shores of Lake, whatever it is up there in Maine.
I think it's called Great Pond. Oh, Long Pond. Sorry, I'm messing it up. But anyway, it's beautiful. So my prayer was about effortless travel, and my father is with us, and he has some mobility issues, and I was eager to get him here, but concerned about the levelness of the ground and him being able to ambulate to the dock. And my in-laws were here yesterday, and we were able to get him onto the dock, onto a boat, and have a boat ride last evening when we arrived. And he was delighted, and I was delighted, and it was so much fun and beautiful, and Lane even drove the boat. So
That is awesome. Wonderful, wonderful, Annie. So when you're looking for some transformation in your life, prayer works, and there's ways to do it. I'll get into a little bit more detail about how you can make the prayers work for you and how you can enlist a practitioner or a practitioner intern to help you out a little bit later in the presentation. Right now, though, we have some announcements which are brought to us by our host, Winnie.
Hello. This luminous information is on our website at newthoughtsphilly.org and on our weekly e-letter. Please sign up at the website so that we can keep in touch. Twice a day, we have a community check-in and meditation on Zoom. Everyone is welcome. They're inspiring and fun and quick, less than 15 minutes start to finish. Episode 57 of Rev Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is Work, Stress, Struggle, and Clutter. It's on Apple, Google, Spotify, or Stitcher. You can watch the live stream of the recording session on Monday at 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. The 107th World Congress of the International New Thought Alliance is Monday through Thursday, July 18 to 21. Rev Bill will be in person in Chicago, and you can take a part online. Evening sessions are free for a love offering. Register at newthoughtevents.org. Rev Michelle Wedley is leading a program on Dancing with the Shadow, a prayer-led path to holiness. It includes a Saturday workshop and four Monday evening classes. Our second annual tie and dye party and picnic is on Saturday, July 30th from 3 to 7 p.m. We'll be at General Wayne Park in Marion Station with a global ethnic summer food potluck. Register online to get all the details.
And Sandy Free, do you have anything that you would like to share about the potluck? Because we got that one set up yesterday, and that just seems like fun.
I thought with the idea of tie-dye, excuse me, with the idea of tie-dye and bringing different colors together, we would bring different ethnic dishes together. So I'm going to ask everybody to create a dish from your ancestral nation or ethnicity and bring it to the potluck. So please register with me so we make sure we have a nice balanced meal as well. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandy.
Yeah. So follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and join the 1,029 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com. The Power of 8 Intention Circle meets on Zoom every Monday at 6:30 p.m. The Women's Circle meets on Zoom on the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. Contact Sandy for info on either of them. The Spiritual Practice class is having a Summer Unexpected Income Club. It's open to all. Sign up online, say the daily prayer, and when extra moolah flows your way, share the story and donate 10% to New Thought Philly. We are grateful to your tax-deductible donation by PayPal, check, Venmo, Cash App, and now Zelle. Thank you to the team that makes our Zoom celebration work, and have fun doing it. To join the fun, contact Callahan. Next Sunday is online with You Are Not From Here. Guest speaker Rev Renee Lebor talks about what happens when we change our personal story. Music by Amy Ires. Rev Bill and the practitioners offer professional spiritual coaching and practical prayer by appointment. After the celebration, Caroline will be available for a quick miracle in a minute, prayer at no charge. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk among ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Winnie. That's wonderful. And on the website, there is a form that you can fill out very simply to ask for practical healing prayer. If you fill that out now, it will be forwarded along to the practitioner interns, and one of them will get back to you so they can go in a little deeper than just we're getting a prayer request and we're going to do that remotely. So like I say, this is the opportunity for them to sharpen their craft and for you to get professional healing prayer done, because we've class 180 hours of class. So since September of 2020, And they have done spectacular work in deepening their consciousness and clearing the field so that they are able to be present for you. And again, a little more detail on how that process specifically works. When we get together in person, we have a special gift for our second-time visitors and a blessing. And we also have a special blessing for our first-time visitors. So I am seeing some faces that are not brand new, but have not been around for a while. So it is wonderful to see you, including in the corner of my screen is Reverend Renee Laboa, who was one of the panelists for the Practitioner Interns yesterday, and is also going to be doing the talk next Sunday. So just pick out the people on the screen who you want to send some love out to, even if it's just for yourself. Rub your hands together, feel the warmth, feel the love, send that out. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you for shining that light and sharing your love with us today. And welcome home. So as Avi does the next song, go ahead and switch into gallery view and make eye contact with the folks who we are in community with here, so that you can understand and deepen and know how connected we are. Avi.
It is wonderful to be in community with all of you. Again, wonderful to see all of your faces. Normally, we would be in person singing together. So even as we stay muted on Zoom, I hope during some of these songs that you will join me in song wherever you are, from wherever you are. This is a song that I wrote, and being that we're in community where a new life begins with a new thought, sometimes when you feel stuck, whether it's in a relationship or in life, there can always be something new. So this is a song called Something New to Enjoy. Cinnamon was seated by a shady tree, waiting for the breeze to roll by. She had everyone down on their hands and knees, searching for a piece of her time. All the lonely people, they couldn't bear with seeing her frown. Yeah, she never noticed, yeah, sure they could stop, but they missed the pain of bending down. Yeah, every day is the same as tomorrow, and every tomorrow is yesterday's news. That's cause we're always singing the same old song. I guess it's time for something new. Joe. Cinnamon worked in a movie studio. That's where she fell in love with Joe. How it happened, I don't know. It was a boom operator. A boom operator. They're making a sequel with the same plot as the first, only with different actors saying the lines. If there's anything I've learned, he says, is that only the weak survive. Every day is the same as tomorrow. Every tomorrow is yesterday's news. That's cause we're always singing the same old song. I guess it's time for something new. Joe left Cinnamon later that month because he couldn't pick her out in the crowd. He couldn't find her latte in the sea of Frappuccino, so he left her there to figure it out. Go on now, Joe, walk out the door, don't turn around now, cause you'll only cry. You got to pull out on that high road, get yourself to Kinko's, and buy a box to think outside. Every day is the same as tomorrow. Every tomorrow is yesterday's news. That's cause we're always singing the same old song. I guess it's time for something new. It was Saturday in the car, and Joe was kicking his dust to the wind. With the windows down, the unfiltered, it will take him wherever he's never been. All he had was a tune in his head, but not knowing how to make it his. And as he drives into the sunset, every single station sings to him how ironic it is. Every day is the same as tomorrow. Every tomorrow is yesterday's news. That's cause we're always singing the same old song. I guess it's time for something new. Every day is the same as tomorrow. Every tomorrow Hey Susan, that's 'cause we're always singing the same old song. I guess it's time for something. I guess it's time for something new.
That was awesome, Avi. Thank you so much for that. That reminded me a little bit of listening to Annie's daughter, Lane, running a playlist. The first 12 seconds of a song and switches to another one and another one. That was
That's right. If you
wonderful.
can catch all the references in there. Yeah. you got it.
That was great. The Flames of Faith is going to be led to us today by Jennifer.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. So we perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity, and we bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. And we light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today is from this thing called You by Ernest Holmes, the class book for spiritual practices, and it's brought to us by Carlann.
Good morning, everyone. When a problem confronts you, take it into the silence of your consciousness. Instead of thinking of the problem, think of the answer. God does not have problems. Therefore, the divine mind is the answer to every human problem. Principles never have problems. Problems are solved by bringing them under the control of principles. The problem is dissolved at as the principle flows through it to the correct answer. Mentally act and think as though the problem were only an argument, trying to convince you that you do not know the answer. It is your business to neutralize this argument, taking it apart, thought by thought, until there is nothing left of it, until you reach a realization that dissipates it. The divine presence will guide, guard, and protect you. It will counsel you with wisdom. Its might and majesty will enter into your being. It will sustain and uphold you in everything you do. You will learn to talk with it, and you will receive direct, intuitive answers. Faith is the essence of communion. Having recognized the divine presence as your guiding star of hope, assurance and certainty be equally certain that you recognize the universal law of mind as your servant. This law is the principle you are to use. Your faith in this law causes it to act upon that faith, to bring into your experience those things you accept. All you need to be sure of is that you never use this law for destructive purposes. When you have compiled with love, you can use the law without any sense of limitation or fear. Say, letting go of all previous mistakes, I know that today I am free and unhindered. I feel the operation of divine love and universal law in my affairs. I know that everything I am doing is governed by love and controlled through law. I am conscious that I am one with all people in love, in essence, and in joy. All right. Sorry. It is certain that you cannot believe in abundance while identifying your lack. Forget the lack and think only of abundance. Control your mental reactions so that they automatically become affirmative. This will be an interesting and happy experience, for you'll be working in the laboratory of mind with the great law of being. Abundance belongs to you. Good will come to you if you affirm its presence. Learn how to think abundantly. Think of the vastness of everything, the limitlessness of space, the numberless grains of sand in the seashore. How abundant, how lavish nature is. Learn to see abundance in everything, to multiply the good you already possess. Be consciously one with the law of abundance. Expectancy will speed your progress. Say, I believe the law of good will bring every good and perfect thing to me and will bless everyone I contact. Now, of the things you desire, and say, I know that the law of good is operating upon this idea. I speak this word with implicit confidence, belief, and acceptance. I know that it shall not return unto me void. I know that I shall experience the good which I now affirm. And so it is.
And so it is. This next song is one of the first original musical compositions from Andrew Lloyd Webber's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I closed my eyes, drew back the curtain to see for certain what I thought I knew, far, far away. Someone was weeping, but the world was sleeping. Any dream will do. Any dream will do. I wore my coat with golden lining, bright colors shining, wonderful and new. And in the east, the dawn was breaking, but the world was waking. Any dream will do. Any dream will do. A crash of drums, a flash of light, my golden coat flew out of sight. The colors faded into darkness. I was left alone. May I return to the beginning. The light is dimming, and the dream is too. The world and I, we are still waiting, still hesitating. Any dream will do. Any dream will do. Any dream will do.
Oh, thank you, Avi. Any dream will do. That's true. Any dream will do. Dream it and you can do it. There you go. So what I want to talk about today is that thoughts are causative. And that's sort of a clinical, scientific sounding way of saying it. Thoughts are causative. And what that means is that your new thought equals a new life. Whatever the experience that you've been having of life up until now is subject to change. Because by introducing a new thought, actually a new belief, and we'll get into the details about that in a little bit, by asking yourself, what if things didn't continue along the way that they had been going up until now? What if something new were possible? And when we engage in that what if, it opens up a whole world of scenarios, of possibilities for us, of things that can change. I remember several thousand years ago, it seems, when spreadsheets were first created. Before spreadsheets, basically, you had to go into a ledger and do all the arithmetic manually to try and change stuff. And spreadsheets let us say, well, here's what we're projecting for this month and for that month and for the other month. And you can put in formulas to say it's going to grow by 2%. And then you just change that number from 2% to 3%, and all the other numbers go and change. It's wonderful for playing the what if game, and you get to try different models. And so what if it's 5%? What if it's 15%? And you get to go and see how many billions of dollars it's going to add to the end of the process or whatever. And it's a very powerful tool for showing you what the real world impact is going to be of certain changes that are happening. And then you get into the thing where, well, okay, I put it into 50%, and that's a really rosy story. And you can say, well, that's the one I'm choosing. I want to have the 50% monthly growth. But then we unfortunately run up against what we call our belief, which is that we believe that, maybe 2 or 3% is going to be possible and 50% is completely unreasonable. And that might be a limitation in our belief system, or it could be a limitation in other stuff that's in the world around us. Along about the same period of time, I think it was the early 90s, I was working for a direct response marketing company. And we would send out a catalog the first of the year as a 1.2 million people, and they would order stuff from the catalog. And that was how life worked. And direct response marketing is the sort of thing where you send out the advertising material, and the next thing that happens is somebody buys something. There is no sales pipeline. It's not multiple steps. It's like the phone rings, and in those days, stuff showed up in the mail. It was before we were getting emails and you couldn't order online on the web. Things would just happen. And I think it was the second full season that I was there. We did a really smashingly good catalog and mailed it out right around the holidays. And in January, the orders were coming in, and we were selling much more than we had anticipated. We had anticipated some healthy growth, but we were going beyond that. And so I was meeting with the vice president of marketing. I said, well, this is great. He says, no, I'm in trouble. I said, what do you mean? He says, we don't have enough people to answer the phones. We don't have enough people to process the orders, and we're going to run out of inventory if this keeps going on. He says, I need to not just say we're going to grow wonderfully. I need to, and coming in low is really bad, but coming in high is almost as bad, because then there's customer satisfaction issues as people can't get through on the phone. They can't get their stuff delivered in time. So when you're playing that what if, it's what do I believe, what is possible, and if it's more successful than I thought it was going to be, what are the ramifications of that? What does that mean? What does that change in my life? Now, in a lot of cases, it's okay. And in the world of prayer, we're talking about health, wealth, love, work, and spirit. So let's do love. And we set the intention that what we want to do is have a wonderful, joyous, committed, loving relationship. And I have bunches of prayer work stories about people who have created just exactly that experience in their life. I'm doing another one of their weddings in October, and it's a wonderful process. It's a wonderful activity to be engaged in. But what if you wind up with 4 loving, wonderful relationships that you want to be committed to? Then it turns into a completely different situation. Is that good? It's better than not having anybody, but maybe it's not as comfortable as just having the one show up. So what we got to do is be aware of what our experience has been up until now. And then when we do the what if, consider, what's the experience I really want to be having? What is the experience after this prayer, after this new experience has come about? What does that look like for me? Because having not enough is unpleasant, and having too much is almost is equally unpleasant. And as we're looking at our life, if we're seeing problems or challenges or difficulties or circumstances or situations, we can look at those and say, based on what has happened up until now, this is what I want to have happen instead. And we get to pivot. Instead of looking at the problem or the scenario that has led up until now, we can use that to inform us, to guide us, to suggest, what do I want to be experiencing instead? And we can turn from whatever that darkness has been to the light and invite in a next new experience for doing that. And we'd like to say your new life begins with a new thought. And that's kind of true, but there's more to it than that. You've probably heard, it's done unto you as you believe. And that is absolutely the truth. As you believe, so it is done. And that's not, it is done unto you as you think. It's not as you, it is done unto you as you want. And that's because we are creating our life according to our beliefs. And we want to change something in our life, we have to change our belief. And that's beyond just the thought. Now, if we're going to do an affirmation, I can do that with the thought. I have a perfect loving relationship. I have plenty of money to spend, to share, and to save. I have wonderful, uplifting, creative work that supports me and brings richness and joy into my life. Those are all wonderful affirmations that we can do, and those are based on our thoughts. And if I say, I am prosperous, I am prosperous, I am prosperous, I am prosperous, I am prosperous often enough, I will have the tendency towards being prosperous. Except if I have a belief that I live in lack, if I am got some idea that I can't make a suitable living because of the career that I want to be in. I want to be a teacher, I want to be a minister, I want to be a musician, I want to be an artist, and that doesn't pay well. If I have the belief that whatever it is that I want to do with my time isn't going to support me financially, then the experience that I will have, regardless of how often I say I am prosperous, is that I'll have an experience of struggle or lack or not quite enoughness. Which is why we do it as a prayer rather than an affirmation. And in a practical prayer, what we're doing is we are going to a bigger picture. So we're able to look at the life experience that we've been having. We can identify, same way, this is the experience I want to be having instead. But then we turn our awareness to the fact that this might be a belief that we have that's hidden somewhere in our subconscious. And you know how you can tell when a belief is in your subconscious? Yeah, you're not aware of it. That's why it's sub is right below there. If it's a conscious thought, then you have access to it. If it's a subconscious thought, then it's hidden. And that might be a belief that's been hidden because of something that you learned as a kid. It could be just something that got ingrained somehow. It could be acting out the same pattern that's been happening in the family for years or generations. Fortunately, there are ways to figure out, and we don't even need to figure it out. There are ways to understand what is in our subconscious and then uproot that and deal with it. Do you know how you can tell there are weed spores in a garden? You tend the garden and you plant the seeds that you want. And then when weeds show up, that's a pretty good evidence that there were weed spores in the soil there. And you've been watering and tending and fertilizing and so forth, and up come the weeds. Well, that's a great way of discovering that there were weed spores in there. You watch what's coming up in the crop and you say, okay, let me pull the weeds out and plant the seeds that I want and have those instead. And the same thing works with our subconscious, because the experiences, the beliefs that we have in our subconscious are sprouting. I think I mentioned at the very beginning that thoughts are causative. And those beliefs that are way down belief are causative as well. Those are causing things to show up in the experience that we have in our life. So you can look at the weeds that are coming up and say, oh, this is a problem. How difficult, how awful, terrible. I'm being punished. This is no good for me. Or I can kick myself for what's in my subconscious. Oh, I can't believe that I believe that. That's so awful. bad practitioner, bad human. I can, but I don't have to. I can use that input, that evidence, that guidance about what's in my subconscious to create something new. And it's always a wonderful question to say, what is in my subconscious? What is in my subconscious? What is it that could be creating this? And I've had the opportunity to do prayer work as a practitioner with clients who have beliefs that are left over from decades earlier in their life. And they learned things from their family of origin that just seemed completely reasonable at the time. And it's been reenacting itself continuously ever since. And by bringing that up into the light, understanding that's what it is, we can set a new intention. Okay, I learned this. I thought this was the way the world works. So instead of me not being able to succeed at what it is that I want to be doing, what I'm doing is I'm succeeding perfectly at old bad instructions. I'm running a bad program perfectly. So what we want to do is, instead of continuing to work on how well we're doing it, we want to change the program. We want to change the program. You know, we're talking about like the old days of technology. Pop out the disk and pop in a new one, and run a different program then. And by the way, the question, what's in your consciousness or what's in your subconscious, is a good question for you to ask yourself, but it's not a question that you can ask of somebody else. That's their own business, what's in their subconscious. It's an offensive question. What's in your consciousness? It's like, we'll see what kind of weeds show up in my garden, and perhaps the person who asked that question is one of them. So don't ask that question. So we have this technique, and it's a really powerful technique. It's called practical prayer. And you guys have heard about practical prayer for real results, or spiritual mind treatment, which is what Ernest Holmes called it. And in the middle of a practical prayer is an affirmation, is I'm prosperous, or I have my perfect loving relationship, or I have wonderful uplifting work that supports me fabulously. And that's just the middle of it. Because when we say that ourselves, as I mentioned, that's we're trying to change our thoughts, but we're not going into consciousness. What we want to do when we're making that into a prayer is we back up a little bit. And instead of starting with what it is that I want to create in my life, I start out by identifying who I am. And the first thing that I want to do is identify that infinite creative power that creates everything. There's spirit, God, nature, the Big Bang, whatever it is that we're calling it. It's the source from which everything is flowing. All of our creation stories are exactly the same, regardless of whether we're talking about scripture or science, the Big Bang. There's a singularity. There is one that begins sharing itself as its creation. And everything comes from that one. That includes me, that includes you, that includes the great situation that you're inviting. It also includes the crappy situation that you're ready to move beyond. It's all part of that one. And that one is rearranging itself, reparticularizing itself, realigning itself in different ways all the time. I mean, there are billions of stars in the galaxy, billions of galaxies in the night sky. And there's so much richness, there's so much variety and diversity available that the infinite can rearrange itself in different ways all the time. There's not a limitation to what that infinite creative power can do. And since everything is created by that one, that means so am I. So is each of us. We are each expressions of the one. So when I say I am prosperous, or I have my perfect loving relationship, or I have wonderful, uplifting, creative work that supports me fully, it's not just me. That is that infinite creative power that creates everything. It's creating that right now, as and for and through me right now. This is a therapeutic technique because we can take the experience that has been, choose something different, align ourselves with that infinite creative power, and invite in something new and wonderful. The last two steps are gratitude and release. We are grateful for the good that's unfolding, and we speak that word, and we release our intention to the same creative law that creates everything. Practical prayer, spiritual mind treatment, is also diagnostic, because what happens is we anchor our little wheelbarrow or our little cart onto that infinite creative power, say that's the truth of who and what I am, and we say that prayer, I have my perfect loving relationship, or the job, or the health, or whatever it is, and that little voice says, yeah, but still lonely on Saturday night. Yeah, but haven't been able to pay that Zelle yet for the pet sitter. Or, yeah, but I've been a starving artist for a long time. And sometimes that can be discouraging, to state this new experience that we're going to be inviting into life, and hear that little voice in the back of our head saying, it's not going to happen. But that's diagnostic, because what that's doing is it's telling you what's in your belief system. It is done unto you as you believe. And that little voice is telling you what you believe. So if it says, yeah, but you're a starving artist, then you can meet that where it's coming from. It's like the thought that I need to be starving, that I need to be impoverished in order to share my gifts with the world is complete nonsense. I can bring to mind all sorts of artists, all sorts of creators who are doing exactly the same sort of thing that I want to do and are being richly and lavishly supported in it. We're very successful in it. If it can happen for them, if it can happen anywhere, it can happen for me. And uproot those weeds from our belief system. Then we do the affirmation again. I have wonderfully rich and creative work, sharing my gifts with the world, and I'm generously supported. And one of two things is going to happen. Either there's another yeah, but, in which case you get to go through the cycle again. No, that's not true. Not true. The limitation is not true. And then affirm it one more time. Or come to the understanding that there's something that is deeper here than we thought originally. And then we get to change the prayer. And one of the really cool things that you get to do, if there's something going on in your consciousness, in your subconscious, that you're not able to get past the belief, that is where a practitioner comes in. Practitioners are rental consciousnesses. They can, it's done as you believe, and I don't have to believe it for myself. I can believe it for somebody else. And as long as they're willing to get out of the way, they're willing to pull their disbelief back and allow my belief to be operative or causative, then that new experience comes about. And when you're getting somebody to do a miracle in a minute prayer with you, then it's a short kind of a thing, and it's just going to be the prayer. But when you do a session with a practitioner, with a professional practitioner, one of our practitioner interns, what'll happen is you'll spend 45 minutes to an hour talking about the experience that you've been having, talking about the experience that you want to be having, and also talking about where those hidden beliefs that have kept the difference between what you want and what you've had from coming into experience. And at the end of it, there's going to be a prayer. And you don't have to do the prayer. They do the prayer. They speak the words. They know the truth in their mind. And we take advantage of the fact that, remember I mentioned that your subconscious is where you're not aware of what you're conscious of. There's only one subconscious. That is the subconscious that we all share. So when that belief gets implanted into the subconscious, that universal subconscious by the practitioner, it's the same as if you thought it up yourself. And as the client, all you have to do is stay out of the way. And then watch what grows in your garden. Absolutely spectacular, amazing, wonderful process. So with 4 brand new practitioner interns available to work with you, we will put their contact information into the chat, or like I said, you can go to the newthoughtphilly.org website and go to the prayer request form, and one of them will get back to you. And create something new and wonderful in your life. Do it for 2 reasons. First of all, to give our practitioners some success in having this process work, and to prove that their education paid off. Oh, and by the way, to have a new and spectacular experience in your life. There's that too. Because you deserve it. You are wonderful. And so it is.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops, that's where you find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Jesus is going to lead us in our meditation today.
Thank you, Abby, for that beautiful music, soothing our soul. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Bell, for that talk, inspiration, touching our hearts and mind. It's good to start off the meditation in the high frequency where each one of us is. Sometimes when we started in our homes, in our rooms, we start from conditions, situations, and all those things that happen to us in our daily day. But to start off in this frequency is so awesome, so soothing. It's like smooth sailing. But the main thing is not to give up. Just keep going until you be in alignment with that one. And in the podcast this week, in our spiritual practice class, I heard the Reverend, say something there, and he said a lot of things that have brought a little smile to my life. I'm tough, but I'm not a tough guy. So when I go to battle, I got to bring the biggest guy that I can find. And that guy is God. I bring God, and all is well. So as we stay there in that goodness, in that pleasantary movement, action, where we at, each one of us. Speaking about belief, thoughts, practical prayer, and all that goodness in this philosophy, where we at. Me starting off as a practitioner intern, treating, it's always come to that knowing, taking out the being out of my eyes, for I could take out the speck out of my brothers and sisters' eye. And it's so good to see that clarity. It's so good to see that oneness, that joy, that power in other people. So when you see it in others, you see it in yourself. The change that we want to see out there in the world, got to see it first in ourselves. Those hidden beliefs, what we've been trained these last 2 years to recognize and to dissipate and bring that healing, that revealing the truth. Not speaking a process of healing, it's a process in healing. Coming to that one, when you recognize, I recognize, we recognize that the Father, the Mother, and I is one. And healing come instantly. Whatever we decide in prayer, believing, is ours. Having that childlike believing attitude, expectancy. Reverend was speaking about the seeds planting. Let's plant our seeds. See a goodness, a joy, of unity, of wisdom, sharing, compassion, empathy. It's planting that creator soil. And daily, we water it with trust, with faith. Sprinkle that fertilizer, that creator soil with expectancy, awareness, spaciousness. Daily, we cultivate it with enthusiasm, gratitude, that joyous recognition, recognizing and realizing that it's only one running through our veins, right all around us, in us. It is us. Not only believing, getting to a place of knowing. And as we go into the silence together, know that we are that one. We could use this power constructively for our good, the good around people around us, and those far from us. This is an omnipresence. It's everywhere.
that one infinite creative power that creates everything, shares itself as its creation, has created me and each of us, unique expressions of the one, all distinct and particular, and all that one divine power and presence, that one love unfolding. And so I know that as each of us opens to that which we describe and experience and define and understand as good, that infinite creative power is infilling us with that. As we identify the undesirable experiences that have come along, the weed thoughts that have been growing in our lives, we have clarity and understanding about our involvement, our steps in clearing those out, to make way for that crop that we are choosing, that we are desiring, that we are intending. And that creative law, that process that is always creating, that is always saying yes, is saying yes to this. That transformation is underway now, differently for each of us, but in the same wonderful process for all of us. This is how love, this is how goodness, this is how uplift unfolds. And I'm grateful for the wonderful ways it's showing up in each one's life. I'm grateful for the willingness that each one here has to take this step, to discard that which is no longer of service, to open to that new possibility of what if, and invite in something new. And so with gratitude for this good and more, I speak this word and I release it into the creative law that always says yes. And I know without any question whatsoever, it is now saying yes. This good is underway now. And so it is. Take another deep breath in. Gently allow your awareness to come back into your body. You wiggle your fingers and toes, shrug your shoulders, and bring yourself back into the Zoom room as Avi does another song for us.
Thank you. As we are speaking today about the possibilities of what if, I offer you this song of mine that I wrote, that sometimes when we're speaking with people, especially people we love and we care about, we sometimes, kick ourselves of words that we didn't say. So I offer you this song as a reminder to say those things to those people while you can. And sometimes the hardest things to say are the simplest words. These simple words get stuck on my tongue. I only say them under the gun. We will regret this all when it's done. They're simple words we say, and I'll never hear you say, I'll never hear you say them. These words I long to say, words I'll never hear you say to me. Just how much of me left do you have? I bet I'd fill up half of your glass. We will regret this all when it's past. They're simple words we say, and I'll never hear you say, I'll never hear you say them. They're words I long to say, words I'll never hear you say to me.
Beautiful. Thank you, Avi. So, all right, I'll continue with the seed metaphor. We've been planting some seeds for the last hour or so. And perhaps you sprouted a weed, perhaps you sprouted a flower, or something's coming up that you'd like to share with the group. Go ahead and wave your hand. This is a brave space where we can step into our new truth. Anybody? Sandy.
This was a beautiful service. And Jesus, that meditation took me so far deeply inside. I just wanted to say thank you for that. And it reminds me of who we are when we speaks as much as the words speak. So thank you again.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. Marisha, you're muted. Marisha, you got to unmute.
Hi, I'm
There
sorry
you go.
about that. You know, I just had a relationship end and lost my job. So your affirmations were very moving for me. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask Linda to text you and have you send them to me because, you know, I do believe that I will get a job that will fulfill me and provide me what I need. And I do believe I'll find a loving relationship. So, you know, a lot of stuff going on, but this service really helped me and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You bet, Marisha. And by all means, I put the link to the prayer request into the chat. So go ahead and click on that, and we will connect you up with one of the pracs, one of the little baby pracs.
Okay.
Christine Joy.
Thank you.
You bet.
Wow, what a great celebration. Everything was so wonderful. Carolyn, thank you for your opening prayer. So beautiful. And Jesus, I'll just echo the meditation was just really wonderful. And Bill, just your talk about practical prayer, I think is so important. And I just want to congratulate all the new practitioners. Kudos to you. I know it's been a long, tough haul for you guys. And I feel very blessed to have new practitioners part of the community to be able to reach out and pray with and meditate with. So thank you, everybody. It's just wonderful. And Avi, thank you so much for the beautiful, beautiful music.
Thank you. Carla Ann, and then Joe, and then we're done.
Hi, thank you. First, welcome to the new practitioners and congratulations. Jesus, meditation was great. I went, it was cool. And Rev, the talk was phenomenal. A lot of you know that my job that I've been out for a little over a year came through a lot of practical prayers. And this last year it's been intense and there's a lot of work and I frequently work way more than 40 hours a week. And now, you know, I had to set up this coalition, blah, blah, blah. And now that everything's set up, now I have to make systems to make it easier. And that's what I'm working on now. And if I do it right, I'll have to work a lot less, but a lot of people will get a lot of help. And so the talk really did affect me. It really did reach, it really did speak to me. So thank you. And I need new practical prayers for the second year of my job.
Okay.
And yeah, and then also, I also mentioned that my boss has been somewhat difficult. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that too. So yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Great service. Oh, and Avi, the music was not only beautiful, it was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. And yeah, we got some practitioners to help you top off your tank. Joe?
I'd just like to sort of reinforce what everybody said. Carolyn, Jesus, I'm really happy to have you on board as practitioners on I think it's going to be great for us. So I'm really happy for you. Congratulations. And Avi, I agree. The music was fabulous. So really happy to see you again. Thanks.
Beautiful, beautiful. Winnie, it's your turn.
Sorry. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contribution. The gift you share help fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way that you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the website to make donation by credit card or PayPal. You can also email a check at our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen. We'll say the affirmation together. I live in an
abundant universe. I am one with the infinite source of all good. I am a center of conscious prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life. I bless my gift. Share my gifts with gratitude and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive.
So
So it is. All right, mute buttons one more time. Avi, one more time.
Thank you, everyone. It is always such a pleasure to be with you. And when I am with you, you know that I love to close out with a rousing song and a little bit of a sing-along. Even as we are muted, the words are not too difficult. And it's a song of optimism for whatever might be coming down your path. What if we look towards the future for brighter days, even if there are dark clouds overhead now? It will pass and the sun will come out shining again. That's the message of the song. I hope you'll sing it with me. It goes like this. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. Try it. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. A storm's about to appear and not a thing will be dry. But the sky, they always clear. It's just a matter of time. So this dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. We're stuck with nowhere to go. It's quite a disheartening thing. But instead of getting low, let's get together and sing. Let's sing. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. Said this dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. I see feeling blue. Life's not how you want it to be. So until the sun shines through, you can sing along with me. Here we go. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. Said this dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will soon pass over. This dark cloud will pass and there will be sun, sun, sun. Said
Thank you, Avi. Thank you, practitioners and interns and everyone for a wonderful, wonderful celebration. Everybody who made this whole thing possible. Again, invitation, if you're not on the production crew, get a hold of Carla Ann, because it is a fun group of people to gather together with. Let us close one more time with a cacophony. Go ahead and unmute your microphone and repeat after me. I am love.
I am
love.
I am light.
I am light.
I let the love flow.
I let the love flow.
I let my light shine.
I let my light shine.
And there is sun, sun, sun.
And there is sun.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Hey.